because of COVID-19, and COVID has snatched so many beautiful things from us. I really miss many, dear ones who were affected because of COVID-19, including the father of one, my dear student, Firdaus, and other family members also. Similarly, many sectors were badly affected because of COVID-19, especially education sector. And to tackle this problem, the whole world is fighting COVID-19, and we also, took our part in those efforts by holding vaccination camp recently. I remember those days when every now and then we used to have frequent programs of this nature. Many important personalities used to come here and they used to share our experiences, and that was a novel, idea of teaching for holistic education. And I, give credit to Mr. Fazlur Rahman Khurram sir for this kind of education where, he wants students' development in every field, all-round development. He's a visionary and will, go ahead with so many problems despite, obstacles created by COVID-19 and other problems. And, ever since I entered into Dawn, with my work, in relation to the work I did for my, this magazine thing, I met so many noble souls and great personalities here, and some of them are gathered here. Apart from Khurram sir, Dr. Ghulam Abbas sir is there, who despite being a very busy dermatologist, he patroned this school and he gave time for students and teachers to give religious teachings and moral teachings. Especially I met Dr. Sushen also here, who is, an IITian, 8th rank IITian. Despite that, instead of going somewhere like America or any other place, he chose to work here in a minority education, like minority management school to teach old city students. I really, I highly, regard him for this. Thank you, sir, for doing that. I want to say something about our guest also, Mr. Ahmad Shah Kohi. He is my best friend, the best friend in my life, in my college, and we did so many good things in our school, like college days as well as later, and we were associated with, Urdu teaching from Siyasat management. Khurram's father, Mr. Raziur Rahman, also was associated, and he wrote those books which were being, taught and still being taught for so many lakhs of students, got benefited from his father's initiative, and we were a small part of that mission. And apart from that, he is, he's also, he had great, leadership qualities in him, and he's doing so many, good work there. And he's associated with Aam Aadmi Party also there in America, and he did so many things to promote. And he's associated with a great mathematician, Anand Kumar, on whom a Hrithik Roshan movie, Super 30 was made. So I hope that whenever he'll come through Mr. Ahmad Shah, we will get to host him, Mr. Anand Kumar, and that will be beneficial for all of our students. So again, I would like to welcome everybody here present, and I'll take forward this program. First, I would like to call Mr. Faraz Mohyuddin sir, who is doing tremendous job. I forgot to mention him, that he is among the people who I met here, and he's a noble soul, and he is living for a cause. He was born and raised in Saudi Arabia, I think, but he chose to, spend his life working in Hyderabad, making a mission that, like, students from old city and minority background should, work very hard, and they should get guidance, and they should reach to the, highest level of Indian administration. Thank you, sir, for your efforts, and I hope you will, succeed in your mission, and we all are with you in this noble mission and cause. And please come and share your views about your efforts.
And good afternoon, everybody. I'm very glad to be here. So me and Sushen sir started roughly the same time, about 4 years back, with Dawn High School. Dawn High School itself is a very prestigious organization. It celebrated recently its 50th year of working. It has students in all parts of the world at various levels. So I keep hearing that you have doctors and engineers, very qualified people from USA and from in all parts of the world basically. So even though Dawn High School is a very accomplished institution in itself, it goes to the credit of the management that they are always thinking of newer ways and thinking of how to improve the education system and how we can do things better. An example of that is the various people we have here today. You have George sir, you have Virasat sir is here. तो एक ट्रेडिशनल जो स्कूल का माहौल है और स्कूल के सब्जेक्ट्स है उसके अलावा भी बहुत कुछ एक्टिविटीज़ यहाँ पर होते रहते हैं अलहमदुलिल्लाह से. सो आई वुड लाइक टू कंग्रेचुलेट सुशेन सर फर्स्ट कि आपका IIT फाउंडेशन कोर्स यहाँ पर तैयार हुआ. सुशेन सर from what I know him over the past 4 years he's a very passionate person. He likes his subject very much and is focused on the soul of science, which is experimentation and new ideas. इस पे बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस रहता है उनका और आज की साइंस एजुकेशन में ये रिक्वायर्ड भी है. And if you look at the new direction that we are going in the national education policy and everything, we are moving away from exam focused to subject focused approach. And I hope I know that your vision is on those lines, and I hope we can make some good effort on those lines here. Whenever I talk to Khurram sir, he says that जो कॉर्पोरेट कॉलेजेस हैं जो रैंक्स लाते और जो फेमस होते रहते हैं, they are not, this is not education, the kind of learning that happens there. And I agree with him. Or to sir's credit, he has given platform for so many people like Prasad Saab and Sushen Saab, and he has given the freedom to try new things and freedom to fail and try again. So I hope that this experiment which we have started is successful both for your sake and for Khurram sir's sake and for the sake of the community who will benefit from it. What else? So when I started, हमारा एक प्रोग्राम हुआ था जिसमें एक चीफ गेस्ट आए थे, तो उसमें सुशेन सर बीच में प्रोग्राम में आके चैलेंज करे थे कि I was here for starting NTSC classes. तो NTSC is an exam जो क्लास 10th के स्टूडेंट्स लिखते हैं. तो 3 साल से तो हमारे स्टूडेंट्स NTSC लिख रहे हैं. एंड वन ऑफ आवर मेजर एम्स इज गवर्नमेंट सर्विस में हमारे स्टूडेंट्स पहुंचना और गवर्नमेंट कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स लिख के गवर्नमेंट सर्विस में आना. और हमारे बच्चे नहीं लिखते तो नहीं पहुंचते. तो इसमें द सिस्टम इज नॉट एट फॉल्ट, वी आर एट फॉल्ट, सो वी शुड प्रिपेयर आवर स्टूडेंट्स. तो सुशेन सर हैड कम एंड सेड कि ये चैलेंज मी, इट सेड देखेंगे पहले आपके कोई पहुंचते या हमारा IIT का पहले होता. तो we are all together in one team, but we are also competitors in a way, क्योंकि आखिर इंटरनल कंपटीशन भी तो इम्पोर्टेंट है. इंडिया की टीम में 11 प्लेयर ही खेलते हैं, लेकिन आपस में कंपटीशन रहे तो सबसे बेहतरीन 11 पहुंचते ग्राउंड पे. सो आई एम रिमाइंडिंग यू ऑफ दैट चैलेंज. सो आई होप लेट्स सी आपके IIT में पहले आदमी पहुंचता है या गवर्नमेंट सर्विस में पहले पहुंचता. While I wish you the best, but I am also a competitor. Okay, so I thank Prasad sir for arranging this program. I thank the chief guest. I just heard of your association with Anand Kumar sir, Super 30 और Super 30 के जैसा एक और इनिशिएटिव बिहार में रहमानी 30 बोल के हुआ था, और उसी तरह यहाँ भी कुछ लोग ट्राई करते रहते ऐसे इनिशिएटिव्स. So I hope we do something on those lines, and I look forward to your guidance. So thank you very much.
Talking about our chief guest, I was sitting here and I was reminding of our days. So during our student days, we formed an organization called Link Student Federation, and we were very active in those days, 90s, mid-90s you can say, and we did so many things. And just to give you an idea about his personality, he lived in UAE and China and America. Despite that, whenever he comes here, he always thinking about doing good things in India. I remember in your, I think, last visit, you were talking about some making our roads good, and you did something. You actually went there and you tried to fill those potholes, and all. I really appreciate your intention behind that. So now I would like to call Mr. Ahmed Shah to share his thoughts about this program and the whole thing, the event and the present days, and what is your vision about education and all. So please.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for arranging this, especially Fazlur Rahman Forum Sahab, Asad Sahab, and I should salute Dr. Sushant for giving time here, and also Dr. Razi and all of these people. I come here, for a minute. My mind go to the old days when me and Firasat goes on the motorcycle to Forum Sahab's father, and he was a legend the way he wrote these Urdu books. Last year I came to know that there are 125 students who wrote Urdu and who learned how to read and write Urdu. It's great. I mean, when you associate yourself as a student to those people who are making a difference in the society. This IIT Foundation course first is a great initiative. And in these times where COVID has basically decimated many of the institutions, a lot of the smaller schools have closed. Not only in Hyderabad but all over India, you see a lot of smaller schools have closed down. And when you're taking this initiative, it's just great, it's commendable. At the same time, I would ask that do not give up on it. Once you start something, do not give up on it. Make sure that this initiative will make a difference in coming years. One thing that we as humans live in our life, we give up because of maybe financial situation, personal situations, family situations, or whatever. We must think that I have started this today and I'm not going to give up no matter what. This attitude will make a difference in our lives. Be it IIT, be it MIT, or be it MSET, or what is that now, JEE and NEET, whatever it is, make sure you prepare your students mentally. What happens nowadays is that we prepare students academically, and they are too much into studies that they lost that spirit of healthy competition. As long as your student does not know that he is going to make in top 10 or top 50 or top 100, he won't make it. His job will be just to make into, just qualify the entrance. It's not the case. In this competitive world, what we have to give our sons, our relatives, our kids, our students is that spirit of competition, that spirit to be the first, the spirit to be the best among the rest. This is what is lacking. We need to be not only the good teachers, but be the good motivators. As Firasat was talking about Anandji, right? One day I told him, how do you make all these 30 students qualify IIT, man? This is amazing. And what is the key? He said, what I tell them is that we are not going to give up. The best tool in you as a human is your hard work. You cannot change the world. You cannot do much. You cannot affect other people. But what you can invest is your hard work. Your hard work is the best tool that you have to be successful. So, and the second thing he told me that, for example, I explained him a question because he's a mathematician himself and he teaches mathematics. So now you guys all understand that why a math teacher can have 30 students go to IIT. Because mathematics is the basis of any logical explanation of anything. So when he explained one question, he says he asked them to write that question in 10 different ways and solve it in 10 different ways by themselves. This is the key for the teachers, that if you explain a question to your students, have them rewrite that question, solve that question, do it 10 times, 20 times instead of just explaining. That's where your students will get the concept and they understand how to solve it. When, as a student, when I was preparing for my MSET, right, this was the key. I mean, I saw those students who were in top 10, they were doing questions and answers by themselves. They were not following any notebook or guide or whatever it is. So recently, before coming here, I called few of my friends who are teachers, who are in teaching profession. I said, what is the biggest problem for teachers in this country? They said, our salaries. So this being the situation, and then I asked my relatives and the students who are going to schools, as to what is the biggest problem that you guys have. One of them said, there's a child labor, it's too much work. So the thing is, the mindset has to change. When you teach somebody, you are constructing his life, his future. That's why teaching is a noble profession. It should be beyond that material gain that you have. And also a lot of time what happens when you teach, you don't know your students by name. Try to know them by name. And you know, when I reached America, I happened to teach a class. So I go there, and before I go, the principal was an Indian lady. She came, Mr. Ahmed, can I have a word with you? I said, yes. Look, this is America, we don't hit kids here. I said, oh, I know that. I said, because you taught in India. So the thing is, the mindset of fear. The students have a fear of not doing his homework, the fear of going to school, the fear of telling to his father or mother or sister or brother, whoever the guardian may be. We need to take this fear out of education. The day you become friend with your student, the day that you become friend with whoever the student is, believe me, you will bring the revolution in his life. You will become the best person in his life as a teacher, and that students will be connected to you for his life. When you bring the fear out, you will get the results going. When you bring the fear out from the student's life, you will get the results going, and then you can insert a healthy competition in your students, and that's when you see the results, and results will never lie. You know, as soon as there's a IIT entrance or JEE entrance, there's a result, right? And your 30 will be there or not. You know, there's a lot of people who start initiatives in India, and I really appreciate that. You know, I myself is a victim of one of those. I started an initiative due to something that you move on, but those who are successful, when I speak to them, they say that we started it, we hold on to it, no matter what it was, rain or shine, we were there with it. You know, and talking about IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, that was started by who? In 1951, Abul Kalam Azad decided that we will start an institution that will make a difference in science and technology. And Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister of that time, but nowadays when you Google it, amazingly, Jawaharlal Nehru comes and Azad doesn't show anywhere. So, you know, I remember that it was started by Azad, so I went back to Wikipedia, and at least Wikipedia have some fairness. They write about Azad. So in this situation, when our civic system is changing, when, you know, when we have a government that is trying to take strip out of your citizenship, strip out of these things, the only difference you can make with your students, the only difference that you can make with your generation is to educate them the best. This system should not work without the experts that you create in this school or in other schools that you have. Whenever any government tries to strip out of the citizens with their own citizenship right, what happens? A revolt, a civic awareness. This is where you need to understand your civic responsibilities also. Fraser was talking about filling up the potholes. The story is, when I came, the very street that my house was in, there was potholes. So I said, no, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to fill it myself. When I went to fill it out, they said it has to be taken permission from the local political leader, whatnot, whatnot. I said, set it aside, I'll do it. And amazingly, I see an old couple who is doing it nowadays. They're filling up the potholes. So the civic revolution is not we cannot have a common understanding, but whatever you understand, like even throwing the garbage on the street, or teaching students that how to deal with the garbage, it's also a new revolution in this country. We are a country of 1 billion people, and we have billion problems. The biggest problem is that I learned this after traveling to America, that how to respect another human being, no matter who he is, black, white, purple, or Arab, or Chinese, all are equal in the eyes of human. So number one thing that I learned is that you need to have the highest moral values to deal and to be around these people who are making innovations, who are making a difference in human life. A lot of people who made a difference in human life, you meet them, they have very, very good moral values. Their akhlaq, their values are so good, they'll give you respect, they'll have you sit down, they feel you comfortable. What it gives me. And then when you see them with their families, they treat them with utmost respect. This is an amazing thing. Again, I go back to Anandji, right? When Anandji started this Super 30, his mom started cooking for him. For 30 odd students, and 30 odd people cooking for that group for one whole year, what kind of a pain it is. All our ladies understand what it is, right? So every day, 3 times, right? So when, as a son, you behave well with your mom, she'll do it for you. As a brother, when you behave well with your brother, he will do it for you, because Anandji's brother helped him to run the groceries and running the logistics and all that. I'll tell you, Anandji's mom prayed for him. She said, all your 30 will be successful, and continuous year over year, you see all these 30 are successful, right? Same thing, Shah Rukh Khan's mother prayed that you will be the best of the actors. When he came, you see how he looked. He became the best. Similarly, Imam Bukhari, he was born blind. But his mother prayed that, oh Allah, give my son the eyesight so that he can read your Prophet's hadith. And this is the biggest research work till today the world has seen. He has become Imam Bukhari, who wrote so many ahadith, the sayings of Prophet. So the dua of mother, the prayer of your mother, the support of your family, the love that you give, that will make you successful, because this one is the spiritual aspect of every successful man or women that we miss. How good they are in the society, how responsible they are with their friends and families. Lastly, I would say that your students might be successful, the life will go on, but one thing that we all need to understand, that as a human being, we have to create this awareness that we are all equal, we need to respect each other, and we live a happy life, no matter what situation we are in. It's okay to do IIT and go to MIT, and the route in working for Silicon Valley workers nowadays is that you go to IIT, it means you got the US visa and a good job. Because if you come to Silicon Valley and you have IIT on your resume, you're good, you're selected without interview most of the times. And if you apply in MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, it's a very beautiful institution on the banks of River David, I think. So, this is that's the path of life. But one thing we all have to understand, that in whatever situation we are in our life, we should be satisfied, we should be happy, we should be thankful, and live life king size. Thank you.
Investment one can make is hard work. I learned this from you today. Thank you, Amisha. Your speech was full of wisdom. Now I would like to call Mr. Dashrath to come here and present the bouquet to our chief guest, Amisha. I would like to call Mr. Mahmood Sahab to please come on the stage and present the bouquet to Dr. Sushen, the man of the movement today. Mr. Faraz Mohyuddin has put you a challenge, and I hope that you will accept that, and I hope that I live to the day to see whether Dr. Sushen's students will get to the IIT or yours to civil service. So, Mr. Sushen, please come and share your views about the subject and your vision about this.
And I guess here, it was a long time. I think 4 years before, as Faraz sir was telling that we both came at the same time, and he is interested in more of the civil services. We want to get our students into civil services. I want to get my students into IITs and sciences. We are having very tough competition. we talk a lot about that. Either my students or school students will attract to his side and my side. But I didn't come into conclusion that one. But it's good. As Faraz sir said, internal competition is very good, right? We both are same age and came here at the same time, and we started with the same ambition, but we are going very competitively. But because of the COVID, it was disturbed a little bit, but it's okay. But the main reason why we started here is because of the noble person. I should always remember Kuram sir. Fazlur-Rahman Kuram sir was the visionary, and he is a special person who brought this educational institutions almost crossed 50 years, right? It's a great task, and he is carrying that from his father. He's a very much moral person and a valuable person and a visionary person. He is a reason why I am here, especially as you told the student should learn how to respect the values, the moral values. That was very impressive talk, and that thing I have seen in the Kuram sir. So he was a person when I came to, that's a newly I came from US around 2013 and 14, but I came here to this school in 16, 17 like that. And he was a moral person, and his behaviors and his values attracted me to come here. And when I came to India, I was free, I was not working, and somehow we got in contact and we interacted, and I started working with him, and I feel comfortable in this school. I didn't care which school or minority school or that one, this one. I don't have any such kind of feelings, but I started with him, and we are going, it's a long way, but I don't know what kind of problems in this area, but we have a vision. Kuram sir has a vision to get our students into IITs and make the students to get the civil services and become the administrators. But Faraz sir is also, he's a best competitor for me. I don't know, he is in my way. We'll see. Okay, coming to this subject, I am very much pleased to start this IIT Foundation courses. It was our dream, not now. When I came here to visit the school itself, it was our dream 5 years before to start the IIT Foundation courses. But because of some reasons, we couldn't start it. And in between the COVID came and troubled us a lot here in our lives. But anyway, we are going, me and Faraz sir, we are taking the courses in an equal pattern. But I'm very much glad to start this IIT Foundation course today. Today is the inaugural function. So I promise my students and the school management, especially Kuram sir, has given me a very big burden on me to take this IIT Foundation courses to all the students just like me. I was a normal child, but I have been through a lot of courses, and I have been into the IIT and went to the Caltech University to complete my courses. But still, it's a challenge for me to take over this big task what Puram sir has given me, and we will make it as a challenge. With Farah sir, I will compete with him. I am taking so many times the Farah sir name, but maybe he will get angry on me. But we will take it. And coming to the subject, as I was discussing earlier, students from the beginning stage, there are two subjects which they feel difficulty. As sir said, maths and sciences. But in my view, these two are the easiest subjects one can think it. But students' minds has to be made by the teachers. If a student is having that kind of psychology that these two subjects are difficult, it's a problem with the teacher. If a student fail in the subject, it's a problem with the teacher. If a student is not behaving properly in the class, it's a problem with the teacher. There is always the problem with the teacher. If teachers are not working in a school, management is not. It's obvious, right? If you go to any IT professions, or if any IT persons are not working, it's the management who is not managing him properly. It's the same thing. If a student is diverting from the class, it's a teacher's responsibility, right? So I hope I will make out that one. I will try to get that psychology out of the student minds. That thinking that science is nothing. It's a very basic thing. The only thing is how we put in our views. That's all. Right from the birth, you born in a science, you live in a science, you breathe science, you eat science. I am standing here because of physics. We live in a science and we are afraid of science. I don't know what kind of concept we have. Everybody, a science is afraid of science again. A fish is afraid of water again. To swim in. It's the same rule. You come over again, you come back to the sciences. Why do you afraid of science? Everything is a science, right from the beginning. Right? I will give you one example. When you get hurt, when the kids get hurt, your household, your mother is the best doctor. When you get hurt, cut, you will go to your mother or grandmother. Two things they will do. If you cut your finger, if a kid cut his finger, they will put haldi. It's an antibiotic. See, the doctors start from the kitchen. Mother is the best doctor. Your grandmother knows. If an ant bites you, you run to your mother or grandmother. What they will do? They will put some small tuna. That's a base. It will heal it. So science starts from there. If an ant bites you, it is injecting an acid. Your grandmother, she is eating a tuna, that's a base. She knows. She is a very knowledgeable person. When to put haldi, when to put tuna, or when to put some oil, or coconut oil, when you burn it, they will apply, they don't put haldi or tuna, they will apply oil. See, different types of issues. You are making yourself in the kitchen. And when you come to the school, why you are afraid of science? Your mother is a big doctor. Your grandmother is a very big doctor. She will tell, don't go there, don't go to this plant. Because you have to ask, why you are, if I cut, why you are applying the haldi? If ant bites me, why you are applying the tuna? There is a difference between haldi and tuna. One is a base, one is a antibiotic. One will stop bleeding. This itself is a science. And this type of environment I want to get it here. Here we are starting the IIT foundation course. It doesn't mean we are going into the real subject. Subject is nothing. Subject is here itself. Around us. Once we start understanding the science, then everything will go smooth. Right? This is what we are trying to give the foundation. From the kitchen, we start from right from the kitchen only. We don't need to, if you want to become a scientist, you don't need to go into the lab or handle the heavy chemicals. All the chemicals are there in your kitchen itself. We have a lot of acids. The other day, Puram sir we are discussing. So many acids are there in your kitchen itself. And students are afraid of acids in the lab. I don't know. That's what happens. The whole science is in your home. Keeping the science in your home, you are afraid of sciences. The whole science is in your body, from top to bottom, and we are afraid of science. Right? I think we need this kind of changes in the students. This IIT Foundation course will try to change the mindsets of students, and then we try to give them a knowledge how to enter into the IITs and become a professionals, doctors, scientists, or engineers. Right? So I will close my talk here. I will promise, and I'll keep my promise. I promise the Kuram sir and the school. I will try to continue hard and fast. If it is somehow right, we will push it and make the students to their better future. Thank you.
So he exactly in the same way explained us what is science by giving the examples of haldi and kitchen and all. Thank you so much for that easy explanation. What I have learned at this stage of my life is that there's nothing that is difficult. If you know that, it's easy. If you don't know, it's difficult. And I wish Sushen sir that you'll compete well with Mr. Faraz sir. Thank you so much for your speech and your efforts. So I must have talked about Maa ki dua. But for this school, we need always Abba Saab's ki dua. So, and he's there, he's a blessing for all of us. He's there to teach us morality. He's here to teach us about... okay, so Abba Saab, will you please come and bless us with a few words?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalatu wassalamu ala sayyidil mursalin. जनाब कुरम साहब का मैं बेहद मशकूर हूँ. जनाब ayesha साहब, रासद साहब, सरफराज साहब, सुचैन सर, all the staff, members, guests, मैं तमाम का बेहद मशकूर हूँ, शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ कि वो अपनी हुनरों मसरूफियात के बावजूद भी यहाँ पर तशरीफ़ फरमा है. और आज का जो ये प्रोग्राम हमारा IIT फाउंडेशन का है, ये मैं समझता हूँ कुरान साहब की और उनके वालिद की दुआओं से, उनके वालिदैन की दुआओं से और उनकी ट्रेनिंग से कुरान साहब के अंदर जो एहसास पैदा हुए हैं, जो जज्बात पैदा हुए हैं, वो दिन ब दिन निखरते चले जा रहे हैं. और कुरान साहब की मेहनतों से, कोशिशों से, आइडियाज़ से ये नई नई चीज़ें जो डाउन स्कूल में आ रही हैं, ये बहुत ही IIT में समझता हूँ यहाँ के डाउन स्कूल के माइंड स्टोन में एक गोल्डन वर्ड से लिखा जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि जो कोशिश हो रही है और जिस मकसद से यहाँ पर सुचैन सर अपना पूरा दिल, दिमाग, जान और रूह से डाउन स्कूल के स्टूडेंट्स को ट्रेन करना चाह रहे हैं, अपने तमाम तजुर्बों से और अपने मेहनतों से, कोशिशों से, दिलचस्पी से यहाँ एक माहौल तैयार करना चाह रहे हैं, माहौल को चेंज करना चाह रहे हैं. तो इल्म हासिल करने के लिए माहौल की ज़रूरत है, टीचर्स की ज़रूरत है. तो ऐसे टीचर्स यहाँ पर अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हर फील्ड में हैं, जैसे फराज सर हैं, सुशैन सर हैं और दूसरे टीचर्स जो यहाँ पर है माशाल्लाह से. अब मुझे एक टीचर का जो यहाँ पर एक मैथ्स पढ़ाते थे, मसूद सर का, एकदम याद आ गई. अल्लाह उनकी मग़फ़िरत करे. बहुत ही डायनामिक पर्सनैलिटी और अपनी पूरी लाइफ टीचिंग में लगा दिए थे. तो ऐसे ये हीरे यहाँ पर जमा है. हर टीचर, हर एक स्टाफ, हर एक मेंबर अपनी तमाम कोशिशों से, गार्डन सर अपने अपने तमाम सलाहियतों से, और डॉक्टर इकरामुल्लाह साहब हैं, राशिद सर हैं, ये अपनी पूरी यानी दिल से कोशिश कर रहे हैं ये इंस्टीट्यूशन को ऊपर लाने के लिए मेहनत कर रहे हैं. मकसद बच्चों की ट्रेनिंग है। मैं समझता हूँ डॉक्टर सुशेन साहब का जो सब्जेक्ट है और फराज साहब का जो सब्जेक्ट है, ये दोनों इंटरलिंक है, ये अलग नहीं है। ये दोनों को मिलके कोऑपरेट करके ही बच्चों को ऊपर लाना है। ऐसा नहीं है कि वो अलग है, ये अलग है, उनकी कोशिश अलग है, इनकी कोशिश अलग है। और मैं समझता हूँ कि IIT की जो ट्रेनिंग है ये बेस है मेरे ख्याल में, ये फाउंडेशन है। IIT फाउंडेशन इज द बेस फॉर ऑल। हर बच्चे के लिए ये ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि साइंस ही है। बच्चा जब पैदा होता तो सांस लेता, हवा क्या है समझ रहे हैं? हवा, सांस, एयर है, ये सब साइंस ही है, समझ रहे हैं? झाड़ को देखता, माहौल को देखता, पेरेंट्स को देखता, उसके जो सेंसेशन से काम कर रहे हैं, समझ रहे हैं? तो ग्रीन कलर के पत्ते हैं, इसका पेड़ कैसा है, इसकी ट्री कैसी है, समझ रहे हैं? वेव्स कैसे आ रहे हैं, सूरज कैसा निकल रहा, सूरज गुरूब कैसा हो रहा, टाइम कैसा चेंज हो रहा, हर चीज़ साइंस, हर चीज़ साइंस है। साइंस के बगैर आप रह ही नहीं सकते। साइंस इज मस्ट। साइंस के बाद दूसरी चीज़ें शुरू। IIT के लिए एक माहौल की ज़रूरत है और बेस है ये। आप जितना अच्छा तैयार करेंगे ये माहौल, क्योंकि एक IITM रहा तो वो हर फील्ड में जा सकता, कोई सब्जेक्ट ले सकता। मैथ्स और साइंस दो ऐसे सब्जेक्ट हैं जिससे आदमी के अंदर जो कैपेसिटीज़ है, उसके मेमोरेंस है और उसके जो थॉट्स हैं, उसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल कर सकते। तो ये सुशील सर का काम बहुत ही बुनियादी काम है और ये बेसिक काम है, और मैं समझता हूँ वो उसका नतीजा सरफराज साहब को मिले। तो बहुत ही सुशील सर बहुत काम कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर माशाल्लाह से, और सरफराज साहब भी बड़ी मेहनत कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर। तो मैं दोनों से उम्मीद रखता हूँ कि यहाँ पर जो है ना एक अच्छा माहौल बनेगा, हमारे बच्चे यानी अच्छे से अच्छे अपने जॉब्स को हासिल करेंगे, दुनिया में नाम करेंगे। और अखलाक बहुत अहम चीज़ है। आजकल बड़े बड़े डिग्रीज मिल रहे हैं, PhDs बन जा रहे हैं, डॉक्टर्स बन जा रहे हैं, मगर जो पहले लोगों के अंदर अखलाक थे आजकल ज़रा कम हो रहे हैं। तो तमाम टीचर्स के लिए मेरी गुजारिश है कि वो ज़्यादा कॉन्सनट्रेट बच्चों की तालीम के साथ साथ अखलाक की तरफ दें। आप में अखलाक ही नहीं है तो फिर मकसद क्या है तालीम का? तालीम का बुनियादी मकसद यही समझता हूँ मैं कि आदमी को आदमी बनाए, इंसान को इंसान बनाए। अगर एक आदमी पढ़ा लिखा है मगर उसके अंदर ये क्वालिटीज़ नहीं है तो फिर फ़ायदा क्या है ऐसे इल्म का? इल्म इंसान को इंसान बनाना चाहिए, हमदर्दी, एक दूसरे की तकलीफ, एहसासात, मकसद हयात को समझना, क्यों पैदा किए गए हैं, हमारा मकसद हयात क्या है, हमको क्या करना है, हमारी जिम्मेदारी क्या है। तो जब इंसान को ये समझ में आएगा और उसका एक विजन बनेगा, उसको करना क्या है, उसके बाद टीचर्स जब उसको परवान चढ़ाएंगे आहिस्ता आहिस्ता उसके अंदर की जो एबिलिटीज़ हैं तो वो अपने एम में, ऑब्जेक्ट में कामयाब। सबसे बड़ा रोल टीचर्स का है किसी भी एजुकेशन के अंदर, कोई लाइन रहने दीजिए। टीचर्स जितना बच्चों को ट्रेन करेंगे, जितने उनकी सलाहियतों को समझते हुए, उनके खूबियों को निखारते हुए, उनको अप्रिशिएट करते हुए, उनसे उनसियत पैदा करते हुए, उनसे मानूसियत होते हुए अगर आप काम करेंगे तो स्टूडेंट्स भी आपके साथ रहेंगे और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होगा। ये मकसद होना चाहिए और बहुत ही इजी वे में समझा सकते। टीचर्स की अपने अपने एबिलिटीज़ हैं समझ जाइए, जिसकी वजह से स्टूडेंट कैसे भी रहने दीजिए, सबका ब्रेन तकरीबन ऐसे ही रहता। थोड़े बहुत टॉपर्स रहते हैं इंटेलिजेंस, अगर मोस्टली 80-90% इक्वल ब्रेन। तो ये टीचर की जो है ना ये खूबियाँ हैं कि अपने स्टूडेंट्स को निखारे, जैसे एक पत्थर रहता है उसको तराशते तराशते हीरा बनाते, तो यह हीरे मोतियों को पैदा करना ये टीचर्स की सलाहियत, वरना नहीं तो वो पत्थर का पत्थर ही रह जाता। ये पत्थर को चेंज करना है, हीरा बनाना है, इसके लिए टीचर्स के अंदर वो जज्बा होना चाहिए, एहसास होना चाहिए कि मेरे स्टूडेंट्स नाम कमाएं और ये इल्म की रोशनी एक से एक फैले ताकि तमाम इंसानियत के लिए इसका फ़ायदा, और इसका बहुत बड़ा अजर भी है, सवाब भी है, समझ लेना। इससे एक अच्छा सा मुआशरा बनता, हर जगह सुकून की ज़िंदगी रहती, आपस में मोहब्बत, रिश्तों में मोहब्बत, माँ बाप का अदब, स्टाफ का अदब, टीचर्स का, पेरेंट्स का, रिलेटिव्स का, बड़ों का अदब एहतराम अगर नहीं है तो मैं समझता हूँ कि उसके अंदर तालीम का सही असर नहीं पड़ा। तालीम वही है तालीम है जो इल्म के साथ अखलाक होना चाहिए। अगर अखलाक नहीं है तो फिर मकसद क्या है? तो मैं अहमद शाह साहब का भी बहुत ही मशहूर हूँ कि बिना को अपनी मुसलफिया से यहाँ आए और उनके जो विजन्स थे, उनका जो अपना बचपने से जो टीचिंग लाइन में और अपने अपने तरक्की करने के लिए जो मराहल से गुजरे हैं, जो उनके विजन की वजह से जो पिक्चर दिए हैं, तो बहुत माशाल्लाह बहुत ही यानी सबके लिए मुफीद रहा। तो मैं फिर आगे दूसरी तमाम का बेहद मशहूर हूँ कि मुझे यहाँ पर ये मौका दिया गया। मैं दुआ गो हूँ अल्लाह ताला से कि ये तमाम जो कोशिशें हो रही है उसमें खैर, बरकत, भलाई और अपने अपने मकासद में कामयाबी अता करे इंशाअल्लाह, और सबको सेहत, तंदुरुस्ती और सुकून की ज़िंदगी अता। आखिर दुआ
रहनुमाई से भरे अल्फाज के लिए शुक्रिया डॉक्टर गुलाम अब्बास साहब। It is said that the music is the soul of life. We all are, going through a tough time because of COVID-19, and music has a healing power. I would like to invite Dr. Gordon sir to, present a song of hope in this time of despair. Thank you.
Been to many schools throughout Andhra Pradesh. I've been teaching them how to play and to sing and to dance and to do many things. But every year I go, I will see somebody who I have already thought they have gone from this school. But this school I have not seen any staff without. That's something I want to congratulate them on. Thank you sir, thank you teachers for all this time you have given us also to be bold enough to stand and say a few things. So thank you sir for being with us today. You have been a great inspiration for us all here. So I'm going to sing one song. It's not a new song, it's a very old song. You will know that I have come